This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Monday, November the 21st, 2022. It's the beginning of Thanksgiving week. We're so glad you could come along with us. Later on today's show, we talk Thanksgiving with Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig. We also have a check of your ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down those markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Well, we're at the end of the trading day for this Monday, and we turn to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see out there in the grain markets today?
A little bit of both directions. Corn sold off from the start from the get-go and kind of stayed down most of the day. Beans kind of reversed midday, and wheat just kind of struggled. Big story coming out this morning was on the energy front in crude oil, and it was basically that Saudi Arabia and a few other OPEC plus countries had there was some rumors that they were possibly going to come in and raise their production by about 500,000 barrels per day ahead of the EU's embargo of Russian oil. That sent crude oil prices sharply lower with that news. In fact, at one point, crude was trading about $4 lower from the close on Friday. And then, I don't know, probably 11 o'clock, sometime in that range, Saudi Arabia came out and said, no, we're actually not planning an increase in production. And it sent markets to virtually unchanged. So we're going to close out our January. It looks like we're going to be somewhere around that $80 mark, which is about where we ended up the day on Friday. So put a lot of turmoil in the markets. Corn and soybeans are obviously closely tied to the energy markets these days. Corn never really could rebound and rally. And so it just kind of stayed flat on the day. And, we're Thanksgiving week. So volume's going to be light, and only people that have to be trading are probably the ones out there trading this week.
That brought up the point I was thinking, outside of something that would cause a movement in the market like we saw, right, you said after they canceled that idea, they went right back to basically break even. So it kind of illuminates how much ease there might be in the market, saying without, again, without some major announcement coming in that could shift the market one way or the other.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. I think I've mentioned this a few times now with you, and I try to make sure I'm telling my customers this same message. We live in a headline-driven market right now. Doesn't matter if it's crude or corn or wheat. If the headlines say to sell, there's going to be a lot of people selling. And when you have these light volume days, it just compounds it. There's just fewer people to step in and take the other side. And you can see some very big moves. That's why risk management is really important, and discussing kind of what you're, how much you're willing to risk on a trade, or if you're a straight up hedger, at what point, have your orders working, be ahead of the game, and don't just expect to catch it when the market's at where you want it. Make sure you're doing a little planning ahead.
Okay, let's move over to the livestock side of things now. Friday after the close, we got the cattle on feed report. Mostly neutral, maybe just a little bullish there for the markets. What did you see in the cattle and hogs today?
The placement number was the bullish story on the cattle on feed. The guesses from the industry were like 96.4% of last year. Now, you got to remember last year was fairly large placement numbers. They actually came in at like 93.9% of cattle placed on feed, which kind of fits this bill that a lot of people in the cattle industry have been talking about for some time. Cow numbers are coming down. The number of feedlot ready cattle are coming down. And then you've got the other issue that, we pulled a lot of cattle forward throughout the summer. because of the drought in the Southern Plains. So it kind of was a little bit misleading on those placement numbers. And now it's starting to come to fruition. The market's kind of noticing it. Feeder cattle ended up closing up about $2, just a shade under $2, pretty well across the board for your upfront contracts. I think it was bullish cattle. It continues to tell the story that we're lacking the numbers that the market's expecting, and as long as demand stays strong, I think the feeder cattle and the fat cattle prices will continue to move higher. Maybe not at the drastic pace a lot of people are looking for, but I sure wouldn't be surprised to see fat cattle trading 165-ish range as we move into the spring.
Now, speaking of cattle, like you said, the numbers are low. Normally northern producers usually are filling their feed lots. A lot of the central southern guys, filling them pastures. I mean, is there a lack of cattle available to feed out right now as well? Are guys struggling to find what they normally would get?
Yeah, they are. The cash prices are considerably higher in the north than what you see on the futures prices. Remember, futures prices have got to come together with that cash index, and the cash index is a measurement of cash sales made from Texas all the way to North Dakota, Montana, and Minnesota, kind of a 12-state range in there. And so you've had really a tale of two regions in the South where they are just hammered with drought, a severe lack of feed, not a lot of grass. Wheat grazing will be less this year than it has in the past because of the drought. It's hard to find a place to go for them versus in the north where we went through a drought and a sell-off a few years ago. We do have good feed reserves. There is a shortage of cattle up here. So the cash markets are really, I wouldn't say opposite, but the cash market in the north is very strong. We see that with our local sales reports where, the southern market's what's pulling that index board down. And because that index is what settles the futures, it's just keeping a lid on futures prices right now. I suspect once if they catch some rain in the south and they start to feel a little bit better about their feed supplies, and then I could start to see that cash index moving higher, which would be a positive for that feeder cattle futures market.
What about hogs? What do we see in the trade today?
A little bit of back and forth trade. Your front month is trading down. The pork cutout values, the cash index on the hogs is weak, and as a result, that same deal there. The hogs is going to settle against that, so it's going to keep probably a little bit of a lid on the December hog contract. There's a lot of analysts out there saying that they expect to see a sharp decline in the February and April contracts. We'll have to see how that plays out, but as of right now, it appears that the cash prices for hogs are drifting lower, and it's hard to sustain those upper $90 futures targets in those back months when a cash index is moving lower.
All right. Well, if folks want to talk at marketing strategies, kind of what you were talking about before in that grain section, and also look at what their options are going forward, how do they get in touch with agmarket.net?
Check us out on our website, agmarket.net. There's a contact page. You can look up any of the brokers there, sign up for our Ag Intel. We've got a conference coming first weekend in February in Nashville. It'll be a really good time, a lot of good information. And if you want to get a hold of me direct, the number is 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler. Well, thanks for the insight. Have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. Take care, Dustin.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and run down those closing numbers. That comes to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn was down 8 1/4 at 659.5. March down 6 1/2 at 663.5. January beans up 8 1/2 at 1436 3/4. November new crop 23 was up a nickel at 1378.5. Soy meal was up $1.90 at 408 even per ton. Soy oil up 12 cents at 70.73. Chicago wheat down 4 cents at 7.99 1/4. Minneapolis wheat down 3 1/2 at 9.48 even. Kansas wheat unchanged at 9.34 1/4. Oats up 4 at 3.95 even. December live cattle up 47 cents at 153.55. Feeders for November down 49 cents at 175.36. Lean hogs down 42 cents at 83.80. Pork cutouts down 22 cents at 94.50. And Class 3 milk was a penny higher at 21.02. And that's been our Ag Market Recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we'll talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, Thanksgiving is coming up this Thursday, and we had the chance to talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig about Iowa products that are going to be ready for Thanksgiving and also what goes on in the Naig household. So here is what we had to talk about. We're talking about Thanksgiving. We've hinted at it a few times here, and those Iowa turkey producers out there have been doing a good job to make sure that we've got product on the tables, haven't they?
They really have. And, look, it's a challenge anyway. The economics of agriculture, the input costs, the threat of high path, whether you have had it or not, it is a very present thing it's a stressor on your operation. And so my heart goes out to those families who are in that business because it's not been a fun year for them, but it is a great time to celebrate with family and to put a turkey on the table. And I think what I would encourage folks is there's no need to panic, but I would really encourage folks, go out there and buy that bird, buy two, get the biggest one you can, enjoy it, enjoy a celebration of harvest and agriculture and putting something that's just amazing on the table. But really, it's a time to be thankful to our farmers and to our livestock producers in particular, given all the challenges that they've had to overcome this past year.
So now I got to ask, how does the turkey get prepared in the Naig household for Thanksgiving? Are you one of those deep frying people, or do you do it the roasted way? And then I also got to ask, besides an Iowa turkey, what's the next best thing you got on that Thanksgiving table?
Oh my! Now, see, I could go a lot of different ways. I'm really not too partial to how it is prepared. I have to tell you, the last couple of years, I have really enjoyed smoking putting that turkey on a smoker, and that has been enjoyable. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen this year or not. Let me see. On the side, well, I'm kind of partial to just about any kind of garden, vegetable, carrots, green beans, maybe some sweet corn that we put up from summer, and so all those things. It's what a great time to be with family and celebrate, but also to enjoy some really amazing food.
That again was Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. Now let's run down that weather outlook. Well, the sun is shining here in Des Moines, and a welcome change to actually have some warmer temperatures after some below normal temps that we had at the end last week. In fact, we saw snow all the way down into Kansas City when we were there for the National Association of Farm Broadcasting meetings. But the snow starting to disappear across much of the Midwest. But let's see how warm it's going to get for the next 24 hours from the National Weather Service. Well, the weather is looking a lot better for the forecast, at least to start the week and going through midweek towards Thanksgiving. Today, look for mostly sunny skies and warmer conditions. Highs will be anywhere from the upper 30s to around 50. Tonight, partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Temps will continue to be warmer. We'll see lows from the upper teens to the mid-20s. And then tomorrow, sunny skies, warm weather continuing. Highs will be in the low 40s to the low 50s. Looking at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will be mostly sunny and 46. Shenandoah and Des Moines both mostly sunny and 53. Those will be the warm spots. Waterloo will be the cool spot, sunny and 43. Albia sunny, 49. And Clinton will be sunny skies and 47 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know every time we put out a new video product. You can also get our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.